person and yet seek to enslave him by law or by bonds of dependency or possessiveness. That's by Harry Overstreet from The Mature Mind. And, of course, there's quite a bit in there. Let me turn my phone off so it doesn't ring while we're talking. Okay. This idea that it is not our job but to possess a person, which is what the ego would do in sly and subtle ways. Rather, it is our job to affirm a person. You extrapolate from that. It's not our job to change a person, it's our job to celebrate a person. It's not our job to imprison a person, it is our job to free a person. You know, there's a saying in the 12-step programs that alcoholics don't have relationships, they hold hostages. And that's the kind of thing that we're talking about here. The ways that we sometimes, in the name of love, pretending to ourselves, I put this lasso around you because I love you, right? I'm trying to get you to do this or do that because I love you. And so in the Course in Miracles, it says, you think you have many different problems, but you really only have one, and that is your separation from God. Our job on this earth, our mission on this earth is to learn to love other people the way God loves us. To learn to think the way that God thinks. So that's why our practice, that's why our attitudinal practice and exercise, as it were, is always based on honing our minds and our attitudes in such a way that we can exercise the attitudinal musculature to stand in the world and look at the world exactly the way that God would look at the world. And that, of course, is with unconditional love. God affirms, He created, of course, but He also celebrates and He allows our free will. God does not force us. God is a space in which we dwell. And when we are in a space, when we are dwelling in a space of this kind of divine love, but this kind of divine love is at its most beautiful when it is expressed through the mind and through the behavior of another human being. What happens when we are in the space of that love is we heal. We get better. In the presence of unlimited compassion and non-judgment, we become our best. So what the ego would have us do is always monitor other people's process and then tell them how they're doing. And this, of course, is not only a way to make sure that we don't get what we want. It's an act of self-sabotage in the extreme, but it's also a way, of course, to repel the person. So what we want to talk about tonight is the art of love in that sense, the way to dwell in relationship with other people in such a way that they are attracted. That's really the essence of what is attractive, attracted rather than repelled. And sometimes, we've all been there, we find ourselves repelling the people that we would most like to attract. And one of the reasons we repel them is because since we are desperate to attract them, we do these games mentally, which then creates literally a repellent energy. Remember, in A Course in Miracles, it says, all thought creates form on some level. So particularly when you're in close relationships, to be honest, it's not enough just to have our behavior down. We have to get our thoughts down, because with our thoughts, we betray ourselves. It's interesting. I had an experience once where that was definitely, somebody was supposed to call me, and was supposed to call me that morning. And at around 10, I decided he wasn't going to call. And I started going into this conversation with a friend of mine in which I totally built my case about what kind of person he is, of course, that he said that he would call and then he didn't call. Are you with me? Okay, well, at 10:30 he called, right? Now, because for 30 minutes I had been focusing on my perception of his guilt, which wasn't even there. It was totally the fiction in my mind, correct? But we do that. The ego is always building a case against someone. The Course in Miracles says there is a cornerstone to the ego's thought system, and there is a cornerstone to the spirit's thought system. And the cornerstone of the ego's thought system is always that the Son of God, which means any of us, is guilty. And the cornerstone of the spirit's thought system is that the Son of God is innocent. Now, the reason